Hello and welcome back to episode 28 of the Early Bath Football Podcast. I was kind of waiting for Ed to come in during the intro to say something, but no, he is matured. He is absolutely. You're going to say something, aren't you? You're gonna. No, that's fine. It's fine. I'll tell you what. It's been a long day already. It's been a long week. It's Monday. I'm ill, if you can't tell. I've got a bit of a cold. I feel run down. So I'm going to do. I don't really do much anyway as a host, but I'm going to do the minimum today.
Lies. You hold this thing together. You're the glue.
Thanks. I really appreciate that. It's been such a long day. Speaking about the weather, rain and snow, right? It's not just me that's under the weather. Everyone's under the weather because of snow, I guess.
All of Burnley.
All of Burnley was. We can talk about that.
You've
heard
Castle
Ed
as well.
Bridge Castle. That's very niche. I don't even know where that is.
I'm a celebrity. The Greenwich Castle.
Oh, is it? I thought you said Bridge Castle.
I thought you said
No.
Bridge Castle as well.
Yeah.
Chris.
Greenwich.
I'm really sorry. Anyway, Ed's here. Hello, Ed. How
Hello,
are you
Kieran.
today?
Yeah, all good. All good. Much better than you, by the sounds of it.
Thank you. Yeah. Ed
I am
shows
over
his-
the weather as opposed
You're
to
over
under
the
it.
weather.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
That's fantastic. Ash, where are you positioned with reference to the weather?
I'm annoyed because it meant that Tottenham couldn't play, which meant
Yeah.
my fantasy team. I had two Tottenham players in my fantasy team, which meant I lost many points, which is very disappointing. So
That's
I was not
suggestive
pleased
that
about the weather.
Spurs were going to beat Burnley and get points against them. Burnley could have done a masterclass.
Yeah, I thought he was just annoyed Burnley weren't playing Barnes.
Yeah.
Oh
that's
yeah, I
true.
was gutted about that. I was sat there waiting. 3 p.m.
Hang on. Hang
or 2
on.
p.m. What?
Sorry, you just said you had a bad fantasy week because you had two Tottenham players. You got 71 points.
Yeah, it could have
I
been
got
more.
like 20.
It's a missed opportunity.
I was
That is
fuming.
that is outrageous. So you got 71 points, even though you didn't. Well, you had 0 from Livramento, 0 from Havertz, and none from Son as well. And they all
Who
ended up
got
in
you
your
your
team.
points?
Salah,
It's
Van Dijk,
Sarr, Van Dijk, Cucurella from Brighton,
all the
Vardy,
boys, all the boys.
Salah, Tony. So you actually only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players scored decent points.
And this is why I'm angry at the snow. So
Yeah,
there
that's
we are.
fair. It could have
That
easily
is
been
a
a triple-digit job.
joke.
Could have been a triple-digit job. Finally, we've got Chris. Hello, Chris. How are things? How's the mustache? And anything else you want to add in this intro bit?
Hello, Mr. Tag. The mustache is very well. Almost completed the November challenge. Another thing that I will add is obviously Spider-Man No Way Home tickets come out. I've got my tickets sorted
Oh,
for the
fantastic.
15th. And just a quick rant. Marvel Studios, Sony, we know that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in the movie. Stop trying to hide them. They're going to be in the movie.
Gosh,
Thank
what a
you.
start.
Thank you.
What a start.
Good lord.
Imagine if
Early
they're
Bar
not.
sponsored by Marvel. Spider-Man No Way Home.
I saw an article earlier that they want to do 3 more Peter Parker, Spider-Mans with Tom Holland.
From Holland, yeah.
Which is good. Spider-Man, Batman, Spider-Man, Superman.
Spider-Pig.
That's a very niche Simpsons
niche
movie reference.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's crack on, I guess. We've done this. Right, so basically,
We've covered all the topics already.
yeah, Ralph Rangnick
Yeah.
was announced, and the boys don't want to talk about it anymore because we talked about it last week. So
No,
he
'cause
got announced.
The United view are getting sad because we're stealing all their content, so we can't talk
That's
about
exactly
United
what it is. That's exactly what it is. So we're going to give them we don't need the viewers. We're going to give them the viewers.
No.
So they can talk about Ralph Rangnick and him being
One
German.
thing we could talk about. I saw a tweet earlier. I've done what you do, Kieran, and just sit on Twitter all day. And I saw a tweet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. Can I kick Ed?
Huge.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
Carry
He's
on.
come
Sorry.
back in a different place.
Sorry.
Oh, I don't like this. I don't like
Blow
this.
my mind.
There we go.
Okay.
There we
Right.
go.
I saw a tweet from Gary Neville suggesting that Cristiano Ronaldo was dropped by the incoming manager rather than Michael Carrick. Do we think that is legitimate? Because Gary Lineker tweeted back saying absolutely no chance did this actually happen.
So you're suggesting that Ralph
Gary
Rangnick had
Neville is suggesting that
Gary Neville is suggesting that Ralph already. I'm going to call him Ralph.
yeah,
Big Ralphie boy, Wreck-It Ralph, already has influence on the changing room as much
Correct.
to make these
Yeah.
decisions. Interesting.
I think
boys,
rubbish.
what do you think? I think it's rubbish.
I was going to
Yeah,
say, when you say it's rubbish, like, why
There's
is it
no-
not? Like, who knows? Like, we're never going to find out. So, like,
True,
what
but
is it?
do
Just
you
pointless?
think, like, I'm trying to put myself in Michael Carrick's shoes, because he's going to
Oh,
be staying
God.
on. Is he going to be staying on? I presume he is when the new guy comes in, or does he
I
bring
Yeah,
in
he
his
would have
own
been sacked
staff?
already. I would have thought. I imagine he'll be
No.
taking a back seat.
No, I think they have confirmed that they're keeping the backroom staff,
Right.
which is absolutely baffling. By the
That's
way,
a whole thing in itself.
That's a
Why
whole
would you
tin of
keep?
beans.
It really is. Why would you want to keep all the people that have literally led you and walked you down this massive downward trend? That's the thing.
Yeah, I can't imagine a scenario where Ralph rings up Michael Carrick and says, "Look, this is the team I want you to play on Sunday," or
Guten Tag.
"Feel free to do your own thing, but I wouldn't play Cristiano Ronaldo against Chelsea if I were you," and then hangs up. Like, I just can't see it happening. I don't know where he's got this from.
I was going to do Carrick on the other languages bit. Away, Ralph, man. I'll do what you say, man.
Yeah, no problem, Ralph.
But then there's a whole thing about Ronaldo itself. I think yes, Ronaldo's great. He's also very old. He's not going to play every week. I see both arguments of one, he's your best player or one of the greatest players ever. He should play every game that he can play, especially against the league leaders. And then two, there's also a thing of, well, he's just a player. Like, he is old. Like, what is the story about him being dropped? He still came on.
Yeah. And if you want to play in a certain system and he doesn't necessarily fit that system, it should be quite right that you potentially drop him.
But doesn't it
It
show
it shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be a thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Doesn't it show that Manchester United are just are so much the Ronaldo show? Like, they got a really decent result against Chelsea, considering how
100%.
terrible they've been recently. And everyone's talking about why Ronaldo didn't come on to the 60-minute and who picked him or who didn't. At the end of the day, they got a good result, and Ronaldo's just I don't know. I know some Manchester United fans that aren't a big fan of the fact that the club has sort of become this sort of rolling circus around Ronaldo.
And like you look at it, imagine the ability to be able to bring on somebody like Ronaldo for the last half an hour. What an opportunity that is. Like, that could have quite easily been a tactical ploy. Like, we'll park the bus for 60 minutes and then we'll bring on Big Ron, see what happens. Mix it up.
You might not be happy with that, but
True.
that reflects him as a person.
He gets to be the centre of attention when he comes on his own. If he starts the game, he comes on with the other 10 players. He's not in the spotlight.
Personally, I just think they're saving Ronaldo for the bigger game Thursday night against the bigger team in London, shall we say?
Oh God, okay, Chris has just called out all of London.
Yeah. You're still an Arsenal fan then, Chris, after that win again?
Newcastle. Well, part-time. Oxford got a good result against Rotherham, the league leaders, considering Oxford's squad's been depleted by COVID.
Up the Ox. 13 players out and got a massive 0-0 victory against Rotherham. Huge.
Yeah, we just love winning 0-0. Absolutely love winning 0-0. First Ipswich, now Rotherham. Bring on Wigan. Bring on Wigan.
I'm just doing the tweet to say we're live because I forgot to do it in the countdown. So just talk about I'm ill. Just leave me alone.
Oxford got Sunderland at the weekend, haven't they?
Sunderland, massive club, passionate fan base.
Sunderland away. What a big away day that is.
It'll be 0-0 again. It'll be another 0-0 victory. I think we've drawn with Sunderland the last 4 times in a row or something like that since they've been in League One. So
I know the Sunderland fans aren't really too happy with Lee Johnson, are they? Because again, Sunderland, to be fair, Sunderland shouldn't be in League One, should they? Really? I mean, I know we do joke about obviously Sunderland till I die in that, but they do have a huge. I mean, what is it? They've probably they're in like top 10 for like biggest stadiums in England, Stadium of Light, and considering they do, fill out between 20 and 30,000 in League One, which is just it's ridiculous, really. Like they shouldn't be in League One, but unfortunately, just been mismanaged from the top. As we saw in Sunderland till I die, they've been mismatched from the top, haven't they?
Absolutely.
They did get the walk-on theme right, though.
They did.
Yeah.
So, what do they have now?
It's not all bad. Oh, who knows?
Same song, probably.
Is it EDM continues?
Yeah.
It's still continuing.
I've just done the tweet. Right, I'm back. Sorry.
I am going to do a tweet.
I'm going to do it. Here we go.
Here we go.
Yeah, wow, we actually said we didn't want to talk about Rangnick, and we did 5 minutes on it. That's great stuff, boys.
Loosely.
Yeah,
Loosely 5
5
minutes. But yeah, what can you do? Well, let's talk about the Premier League in general. I don't even have the fixtures up, so I've had to. It's an open book. This is an absolute mess of a pod, but if anyone wants to talk about anything,
should we start from the top? Go on, Chris. You can give us an Arsenal lowdown.
Well, I mean, in the end, it was a good victory in the end for Arsenal. Obviously, good to see Saka and especially Martinelli get on the score sheet, because that's the interesting thing with Arsenal. Obviously, we got Lacazette, who maybe might not be there next season with obviously his contract running out in the summer, and like I think I can see him moving on. Just the fact you look at the business that Arsenal done last summer, they want to bring in more younger players and sort of build up a team around the younger players and that. And also, it is a bit worrying that Aubameyang hasn't really scored from open play for quite a few games now, and he did miss a sitter on Saturday. He had an easy chance that was about 6 yards out, and he's hit the post when all he had to do was hit the target and it was going in. But yeah, like I said, like obviously Saka took his goal well. Martinelli's was a brilliant finish. Obviously, he watched the ball come over his shoulder and just volleyed it into the corner, which was fantastic. I would say Arsenal did rode their luck a little bit. I did think Newcastle did have a couple of, well, maybe one good shout for a penalty with the holding. And now I weren't too sure on the Callum Wilson through on goal penalty shout. I did think that was a bit soft from Wilson, but as Barnes is signaling, it was a bit of a dive. But the one where I can't remember which Arsenal defender was grappling which Newcastle attacker, but he was like holding him a bit in that. But in terms of Newcastle, like I think Alan Shearer said it, this is a massive week for them. I mean, obviously they've got Norwich at home tomorrow night, and that is must win. Like even if they draw,
game for them, isn't it?
Yeah, even if they draw that game, it's not good enough for them. They have got to start winning, and they've got to start winning tomorrow night. Otherwise, I mean, obviously Arsenal fans were chanting, "You're rich, but you're still shit."
Oh, okay. I thought you weren't going to say it.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I thought
12 minutes to 7.
Yeah.
It's not a watershed.
I know. Terrible.
It's a family show,
terrible.
Chris. Come on.
Yeah, sorry, I'll be paying my fine out in check. But
they are 6 points adrift of Leeds, who are in 17th. That's quite a lot, to be fair.
That's worse than what Derby County were when they got the lowest points total ever at this season.
Really?
I think they were only 4 points off getting out of the relegation zone at this point, and Newcastle 6.
The funny thing about that Derby team and linking them to Newcastle is that they took 4 points off Newcastle that season. Newcastle was the only game they won, and they managed to draw against them as well. And that, which is quite funny, like looking back on it. But yeah, like Newcastle got to start picking up results, because otherwise, like it's going to scupper up their January business as well. I mean, it don't matter how much money they've got in that. If players are gonna look and think, well, I don't really fancy going down to the Championship, no matter how much you're going to pay me. Or not only that, like if you think about contract talks, it's like, all right, I'll join you, but I want a clause in my contract that says, if you go down, you're going to sell me at this price, like sort of like a relegation release clause, if you will, in that. But yeah, like I said, it's a good win for Arsenal. It was good to bounce back after the Liverpool game. It was just good to bounce back, get a win, and build a little bit of momentum towards the Manchester United game on Thursday, which it will be a different game, obviously, now that obviously Ralph has been announced as Man United manager. But I think Arsenal fans, like, all right, Man United squad is strong still in that, but I think Arsenal fans can go into it with a bit more confidence than what they would have done after the first 3 games in August.
That's lovely stuff, Chris. That really is a lovely little, what's the phrase? I don't know what the phrase is. A roundup of that Arsenal-Newcastle game. Are we going to go through every game? Because there are like 9. That's so many. Nah. We don't really care about.
I mean, there's several 0-0s. I think we can jump to Brighton.
Let's jump to Brighton.
Just because I want to ask you your thoughts on the fact that Graham Potter received some boos at final whistle.
He did, and if anyone
then had some choice comments, because
he did.
I think what was interesting is quite often in football, like the interviewing process is so political, and they are coached to not give anything away. And he actually, wore his heart on his sleeve a little bit, which was somewhat refreshing to see. But I was trying to put myself in a Brighton fan's position, so it'd be interesting to hear what your thoughts are, because he basically implied that they don't know what they're talking about. And I know it's only a small section of them, but what do you think?
So my thoughts, I have three main thoughts. One, yes, it's only a small section of the Brighton fans to begin with, so it's not the whole fan base. That's my first point. So let's not, broad brush stroke all the Brighton fans who think they're really annoyed at Graham Potter. Two, but a lot of people are saying we're not booing the manager, we're booing the performance and the fact that we didn't win the game, which I think every fan's sort of has a right to do that. Brighton,
Leeds are there Leeds are there for the taking at the minute as well. They've got so many injuries.
They really are. Brighton have needed a striker pretty much ever since they got promoted to the Premier League. Because we started with Glenn Murray, who did absolute wonders for maybe 2 or 3 seasons. Obviously now he's retired. Got Neil Maupay, who does a decent job, but he fluffed a few chances on Saturday, didn't he? So Brighton have needed a striker even before Potter joined, and it's still not been addressed. So I completely agree with the fans in saying, like, what's going on there? And my third point on this is Graham Potter's point was like, I might need a history into this football club or something, suggesting that, I've taken you to the highest you've ever been to in your life, or in a generation or whatever, which I also get. But there's also a thing of that whole argument's a bit sketchy and problematic, because that suggests any time a club has been crap once, unless you have... So Brighton were 23rd in League Two, the equivalent of League Two in like the 90s or something. So they were literally the 91st club of the 92. What you're suggesting is that no Brighton fan can complain until they are the 92nd club of the 92, because everything from that lowest point is an improvement on that. It's a weird one, because I think it's a bit of a small club mentality to not address
want
that.
To push for more,
want to push for more, right? I think Brighton fans are very much should be encouraged and have a right to be like, we've not been great this season. But then you look at the table.
They have been great this season.
Yeah,
that's why it's stupid. Like, why would you boo a team who has significantly improved on where they were last season?
Because
in the last 5.
Because they are level on points with Man United and Leicester, which that's not, on the face of it, that's good, right?
But I think they were booing because they are doing so well this season, and Leeds are rubbish and are doing the worst they've done since they've been back in the Premier League. And yet it was 0-0, and Brighton were at home.
I guess, and Brighton did. I think they're probably annoyed at the fact that if they had a decent striker, they probably would have.
It wouldn't have been,
They probably would have got a goal and probably would have got a win. They probably would have got a few more points if they had a decent striker. I think they want to look for that. What's his name? Darwin Nunez or something for Benfica, that Uruguayan kid.
Yeah.
I saw something earlier today which was like Brighton should go for him, which is a brave one. I think Luis Suarez said to Barca to go for him, didn't he, or something like that. But it's a difficult one for Brighton, because I have sympathy with Potter in saying, guys, come on, look where we are. It's really good. But I also see a point of they've needed to address issues in that squad for a long time, and they haven't addressed them. It's no different to United fans wanting Ollie out or anything. It's the same sort of principle. It's been a long-term issue. So
and it's also a little bit of a tricky one within football, isn't it? Because as a fan, if you want to voice and have your voice heard about how you're not happy with something, the easiest and most frequent way to do that is to boo. Because if you go on Twitter and stick in, "Oh, Brighton were rubbish. We were rubbish today," nobody's going to read that at the club.
Yeah.
Whereas if, as they're walking off the pitch, you are booing them, they're going to be like, "Fans aren't happy. Probably should have played a bit better." But then, it leads to comments like this from Potter, where he's like, "Well, have a day off."
Yeah. And there's a whole thing with interviews after games as well, which I always find quite funny and quite interesting, because sometimes you are caught in the emotion of the game still. Like, if I know Carl Robinson, as the Oxford manager, said some stuff in interviews right after games where he's just been fuming, and in his Scouse accent, he's just, he's completely roasted someone or whatever. I think Carrick did the same after the Chelsea game yesterday. I think he said Wan-Bissaka's given away the penalty wasn't a penalty. It was just like, it definitely was a penalty. And I think he's like saying, he says something like, correct me if I'm wrong, like, I'm really proud of the players. They did their job today, something. We had a game plan. It's just like, well, did you not have a game plan for the whole season or anything like that? It's that's the basics, right? Like, it's
and also he made a comment about them being really good defensively today.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't say you were really good. Chelsea missed a lot of chances. You've done well to come away at 1-1. However, compared to your previous defensive performances, yes, drawing and only conceding 1 away at the league leaders is a good performance, but I wouldn't have said it was a good defensive.
Oh, is Ed gone?
Oh,
I'm still here. No, he's still talking.
I'm still here.
Have you gone?
Have you gone, Kieran?
I think he's gone. I think Kieran's gone.
The weather's got him.
Oh,
he's
back.
back.
He was that far under
I don't know if I'm back. I have no idea if I'm here.
You are back.
Don't fool Josh Leafy. Oh, the Wi-Fi didn't work.
Oh, Aruna poo Wi-Fi. I won't swear like Chris. Aruna shit Wi-Fi. There we go.
God.
It's 3-7. I'm allowed to say it.
But yeah, what I was going to say was, in the context of Man United's previous defensive performances, it was better, but it wasn't a good defensive performance. I mean, the one that springs to mind is when I think Callum Hudson-Odoi and Wan-Bissaka were going for a ball in the first half, and Wan-Bissaka fell over, and then like Hudson-Odoi breezed past Lindelof as if he wasn't there. De Gea makes a good save, and then Lindelof comes over. He's like, "Oh yeah, well done, save, mate." I mean, it's embarrassing, really.
Yeah, I do want to get your thoughts. Right, anyone? I asked Barnes. I don't think Barnes has talked enough. I do want to get Barnes on it.
No pressure.
Yeah.
I'll go on mute.
Quiet. Don't want it.
Yeah,
Doesn't want it.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts on the whole Jorginho thing. Yes, he made a mistake, but do you think he was right just to stand there and throw his arms and sulk about it, or do you reckon he should have? Bear in mind, he was wearing the captain's armband for Chelsea as well yesterday. Do you reckon he should have at least tried to run back and try and stop the goal from happening?
No.
In principle, yes, but no, because he was never ever going to get it. Like, by the time he'd lost the ball, I think Sancho was genuinely about probably 20 yards ahead of him. Yeah. So there was absolutely no point in doing. If he just pretended to run, like,
it would have been running
anywhere near it.
I'd like to place on record that I would have run as a defender.
Oh, yeah. You'd run out of panic, wouldn't you? You'd be like, "Oh, no. Oh, it's a goal."
Would you make that noise as well? No.
Yeah.
But then, like, 2 Chelsea players ran past him and were trying to run.
Yeah, that's not great, is it? That's not
but did they affect the play or even get close to affecting the play? No. So was there?
Oh, that's a whole
he knew what happened.
That is.
Yeah.
You can say that about a lot of things.
What do you mean? If you're not going to affect the play, don't.
Yeah,
run.
What's the point? Yeah.
In that very unusual circumstance, which, let's face it, rarely happens on a football pitch, they nearly messed it up, actually, because I'm pretty sure Rashford ran offside when Sancho was going to pass it, so he's lucky he shot in the end. But I've had it as a very bad Sunday League defender. I've had it so many times, and someone smashed it up in the air. And you're like, how's your touch? How's your touch? And you're like, oh God, here we go. And you're like wheeling back, and you got 2 like pacey strikers are running at you, and you're like, oh,
like
shall I head it up in the air? Shall I try and take a touch? For me, it's lucky because I'm poor enough to know that I could not have controlled that, so I probably would have been okay. But for Jorginho, you see why he did what he did. In the end of the day, he makes a mistake, but he's been class for Chelsea.
It's not a bad touch, right? Can I just say? Apart from the fact that it's like 10 yards away from him.
Apart from 2 Manchester United players were right on him when he did
and conceding a goal. He pretty much kills it dead.
To be fair,
it's a decent touch.
He made up for it as well. He slotted away the penalty. He more than made up for it.
He did
as well.
It was a good pen. It was a good Pino.
Really I wouldn't be annoyed at Jorginho, to answer your question, Chris. To be honest, I would be annoyed if he did it consistently. Like, say there was another game and he didn't run back again, or he did something else. Like, say, that one that fans hate where people like they turned their back, or he started doing. Then you sort of build a picture that maybe someone's not trying. But I don't think you can say that with Jorginho because he's been really good.
I think he covers the most ground for in the Premier League. Definitely for Chelsea, I'm pretty sure. He covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, he's very crabby, isn't he? Just sort of
on this
side
one
to side.
occasion, on this one occasion he didn't run, and Chrissy spotted it and is rightly fuming.
Like I said, he's wearing the captain's armband. He should really show an example.
I mean, Aubameyang, Chris, is a player that whenever I watch him doesn't seem to do much running, and he wears the captain's armband.
Harry Maguire wears the captain's armband and he runs through treacle.
He's got porridge boots.
Yeah, that's what makes it even more hilarious. How Man United's defence actually looked a lot better without Harry Maguire in the team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
What's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on that? Anyone?
Yeah, good. True. Don't need to unpick that anymore.
No. Needed, I think. Should we run through some of the other? Anybody got any other games? I mean, there are a couple of boring 0-0s.
Well, Ed, surely you want to talk a bit about Liverpool, don't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Smash the feeder club.
Bring it up, Chris.
Yeah.
I'm helping you out, Tang. You're like, I don't really want to host this one.
I don't sound like that.
My asthma's playing up.
I haven't brought my asthma up once.
I'm a little bit under the weather.
How are you, Ash? You okay?
I'm good. See, I would never bring up your asthma.
Don't asthma shame me.
That's a nice guy. No, is that?
I hold my hands up. I apologise.
Yeah, that was
bullying.
Blow.
Now Ash is next to me at the top. That's how it works.
Does that mean I get to choose a game to talk about, and we don't have to talk about the Liverpool game? Which, let's face it, nothing
you get to choose. You get to choose. We'll come back to that.
It's fuming.
Leicester 4, Watford 2. 6 whole goals, loads of snow. What a game. I still think Watford are really bad, by the way. And nothing is going to convince me otherwise. They're so random. But it was nice to I think Vardy hasn't been at his best this season. I thought he was really good. Took his first goal especially. We did that classic thing where as soon as the keeper had a little dink straight into the corner, it was a lovely goal, and then beat the man at the front post for it was 2 very Jamie Vardy-esque goals. And he did a knee slide in front of the dugout, which was was up to Ranieri. I'm not sure.
Vardy was unreal at the start of the season, wasn't he? And then he's been on a barrel run where he hasn't scored for weeks, and now Leicester are back. I don't
maybe the WKDs have run out.
It's WKD shortage,
and I think as well.
So
I was going to say, speaking about defensive mistakes, what on earth is Troost-Ekong doing for the first goal?
Oh, it's terrible. Terrible.
Absolutely shocking. just like, that's keeper's ball. Oh, Maddison's behind me. Oh, it's 1-0.
I think Maddison's one, actually. Maddison's one who has kind of gone off the boil, really. He was on the fringes of the England team last season, got in the England team, didn't he? He's had a couple of injuries and just not really done it for quite a while. Whereas the weekend just gone, seemed like he was back in some sort of form. Actually had a decent game.
Watford aren't very good. As I said, Watford, I'm not sure. I think Leicester looked quite nervous at the start of the game. And then when you get a gift of an opening goal like that, when someone just, I'm just going to leave the ball and let Maddison score, I think it kind of takes the pressure off. And even then, Watford still have a lot of chances. And obviously they scored 2 goals. So I'm not quite sure what is going on at Leicester this season. It's a bit strange. But I think it's kind of reflective of their best players' form, right? You've got like Vardy and Maddison have sort of been on and off, and as a team they've been on and off, and in some cases they have impressed, but generally speaking they've been poor.
They are very reliant on Jamie Vardy, Yuri Tielemans.
Yeah,
I think Tielemans has been injured, hasn't he?
He is now injured.
Samare and
last couple of weeks
played, which is probably more of should be quite a solid cover in midfield. But as I said, they didn't have to do much, and I think Watford, I don't know what it is necessarily that they're doing wrong, but going back to the appointment of Claudio Ranieri, it just doesn't inspire me that they can stay up. I really think they might. Well, they're already in the relegation race, shall we say? But I think they'll definitely be. They might have to pick up some good results, but I think you can discount that Manchester United one just because of the sort of disarray that the club were in at the time. I wouldn't read too much into that.
Is it a relegation race?
Not really. You're trying to lose, aren't you?
The football yeah, exactly. Let's unpick the football terminology there. I don't think it's a relegation race, right?
Desperate to get relegated.
Yeah.
Well, Newcastle seem to be treating it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got to see. I think it's a relegation scrap, right? It's a scrap. It's a fight. It's a dog fight.
Yeah,
it's not a race.
Sean Dyche would love that if relegation was just fight. You just fight the opposing manager. He'd absolutely love that. He'd love just scrapping the opposing manager to stay up.
Should we talk about Should we unpick the myth that is Sean Dyche? Because we did talk about it it's in our title, and basically, Chris said in our group chat earlier that he doesn't like people wearing shorts in this weather.
No, I don't.
He absolutely hates it. And I'll let Chris discuss that and talk about that a bit more himself. But Sean Dyche, obviously the Burnley game got called off. And he was out there wearing a shirt and tie and...
No coat.
No coat.
Where was his bloody coat?
And that's what we're fuming at. That's not. He's a role model to some people, I imagine. And he's not keeping warm. And
There's
that's
going to be
really
kids all over the country who go, Mum, I'm not wearing a coat. Sean Dyche didn't wear a coat.
That's exactly what they sound like as well. So, Chris, let's unpick your pet peeve with people that don't wear appropriate clothing attire. Go.
That's a lot more broad.
And also Sean Dyche. Segue into Sean Dyche.
Yeah, I mean, doing a bit of a Peter Griffin. Do you know what really grinds my gears? People that wear shorts in this weather for no reason at all. I mean, all right, I get if you're playing a football match or any sporting event that requires you to wear shorts, I understand you wearing shorts. If you're wearing shorts because, well, I'm a builder, I work on site, I wear what I want.
Oh, wow, okay. You're really going to trace people there.
Just
Here we go.
Just
I'm really sorry to all the builders. All the tradespeople that keep our country
The
going.
controversy dog is barking.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like, well, what are you achieving? It is attention seeking. It is, oh, look at me. I think I'm well-hard. I'm wearing shorts when it's -2 out there. But no, it just makes you look like an idiot.
Violence today.
Yeah, but it does make them look like an idiot. Like, wrap up warm. I mean, what's wrong with wrapping up warm? And that thing is, like,
what's wrong with it?
What's wrong?
But the funny thing is, you'll see them wearing shorts and they've got a hat on their head, and makes absolutely zero. That's like the whole short sleeve and gloves argument as well.
Scientifically, you do lose most of your heat from your head, actually, Chris.
Really good.
But that's not the point.
Yeah. Well,
I think one thing you said there actually rings true. Like, why would you not wrap up warm? How much more effort is it to put a coat on and put some trousers on than it is to put shorts on? I just don't get it.
Yeah, but in terms of Sean Dyche, yeah, he probably should have worn a coat. To be honest, I mean, we don't want Sean getting ill during the Christmas period. I mean, for his family's sake as well. Imagine an ill Sean Dyche at the Christmas dinner table.
He's got a croaky enough voice as it is.
Yeah.
He's got permanent
cold at the moment. Can't really do any interviews.
Yeah. And he's miserable as it is anyway. Bless him. I mean,
man flu.
Yeah.
He'll
But
right.
to be fair, I wouldn't say it to his face because he'd hit me. So.
Just like the tradesman will be hitting you, Chris, after listening to this.
Chris is getting a brick thrown through his house today. I'm worried for you. I'm worried for Chris now. I'm worried for Chris. Gosh.
Where does Chris rank on the Steve Bruce ratings of worriedness?
Well, it's Steve Bruce, obviously.
Alex Bruce at the bottom.
No, it is. Graham Potter's sort of in the middle now because people are booing him. I'm very worried about him. Ollie's down the list, and he's not even. No one cares.
No one cares yet.
I don't know who else could be on that list.
While you think about people on that list, Tim, can I just wade in on this?
Yeah, go on, please.
I'm
filling words.
His son, Max Dyche, made his debut for Northampton this weekend, and I was very interested. I was like, would you be like your father and sort of wear a short sleeve t-shirt and, in the game? He wore a thermal. So when we talk about, Dyche's message, like infecting the younger minds of the UK with, not dressing up appropriately for the weather conditions, his son did not take his advice. So I think we
after his mother.
Exactly.
Sure, Mrs. Dyche is very well wrapped up.
The message here, kids, is if in doubt, listen to your mum.
Yeah.
You do think he's probably playing on a stereotype though, Dyche. Like he knows people like it. he pretends to be like, oh, I'm a hard man. So
If
I
you
think he
were a
might be doing it
footballer's
just
son,
taking the piss.
would you go against the grain and not be like your father or mother? Or would you sort of join that train of like if it's Sean Dyche, hard man, like Rory Delap's son?
I feel like a lot of
plays for
people
City, doesn't
follow their
he's-
parents. That's quite similar. Like
He's going the
especially in
opposite
terms
way,
of
isn't
players.
he? Like
Well,
Rory
yeah.
Delap was known as a bit of a house, whereas
Yes,
his son is
Charles.
at Man City learning to be an actually decent technical footballer. Or do you go like the Wright Phillips route, where you just follow what your dad did?
I don't think Rory Delap's son has a choice at Manchester City Academy. He goes, oh, you know what my dad did? He was really good at long throws. And sorry, man.
I'm sorry.
It's not going to happen, is it?
They got like Steve and Alex Bruce, who are pretty much just the carbon copy of each other.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Are,
just, but although to be fair, like Steve Bruce in his footballing days, he was a goal
he won a
scorer.
bit. Yeah, he did a bit.
Yeah,
You're a bagsman.
Yeah, he was a bagsman from centre half. He probably just just said to the people that was marking him, well, I've got to say, there's some nice doner kebab shops down here in Manchester.
I wouldn't stand too close. I've had a kebab for dinner last night. It's all coming out the other end, pet. Give yourself a yard.
What's going on?
Anyway.
And then 1-0.
1-0. Ed, do you want to talk about Liverpool now? I'll let you do it.
I mean, there's not much to talk about. We were brilliant. It was excellent.
Oh, Christ, I've regret this.
You talk about the blue half of Liverpool
against the feeder club.
Yes, let's do that after.
Yeah, let's talk about the blue half, because I saw again a video on Twitter today of some Everton fans. Like the players went over to the away end after the game, sort of like, as they do, sort of clap them and say, "Oh, thanks for coming." And they were like not only booing, but they were like berating the players. And so the players were stood so far away from where the stand was. They're almost like on the halfway lines, like saying, "Oh yeah, thanks." And all the fans are going, "Yeah, you're fucking shite,
Is that John Bishop in the room?
Yeah, it was.
Now he's stuck in time, any John Bishop. He's in Doctor Who, isn't he?
Oh, classic. He's an actor. A real actor.
That's segue. Yeah. Do you want to talk about who's going to be the next Doctor Who, Chris?
It might be
Steve
Rafa.
Bruce out of a job.
Yeah. Ollie's out of a job.
Yeah, Steve Bruce, Ollie, or Rafa, one of the three.
What's the plan, Doctor? I don't know. I haven't got a plan.
where I've got to say, go back to the kebab shop in 1980. Where
Yeah, play good football.
I want to go back to Turkey, find out where the first kebab were made.
I'll tune into that episode.
We've gone off on a tangent. Ash, do you want to talk about Everton?
Yes. Again, they're struggling. They've lost their. I think they haven't won in the last 7 or something like that.
They ain't got any strikers, have they?
They haven't got any players. They got so many injuries, and I suppose that's a caveat. You see the supporters going mad. I saw that video on Twitter as well. And you kind of think, in this case, whereas maybe the Brighton one, it seems extremely harsh to boo Potter, booing Everton, who have genuinely been really not very good in recent weeks, seems sort of fair enough. And I think, although they have got injuries to key players, the players that are on the pitch do need to look at themselves. Rafa Benitez even needs to look at himself, because I think they had 2 strikers on the bench. I think 3 strikers. They had the two young lads, and I think Cenk Tosun. I think when you're losing 1-0, it's not really acceptable. He is still there. It's not. You can't not bring them on and then just lose and then be surprised that the sort of fans are upset with the result. And Everton are a team. Think of the amount of investment, admittedly extremely poor investment, but investment they've had over the past few years. It's so
Alex Iwobi. Oh, Alex Iwobi.
I genuinely think that might be one of the worst transfers. Paying more than up with Andy Carroll, of paying way too much for a single player. But anyway, Everton are in big trouble unless they don't get their players back soon.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? Rondon missed a great chance as well. I seem to remember from Match of the Day, missed a really good chance, just completely fluffed it.
Yeah, he actually done well, Rondon. Like he got away from it was Janssen, wasn't it? He got away. He took that really good first touch really well away from Janssen, and because I was watching it on Sky Sports, obviously he had Jamie Floyd Hasbank on, and literally said all he has to do, That's the thing. Yes, it was a good save from Fernandes, but Fernandes left him a massive gap at the, just to slot it in at the far post and that. But whether Rondon just doesn't have the confidence or whatnot, I don't know.
But yeah, it's a tricky one because Everton as well had a great start to the season, similar to Leicester, had some really good results, and we were looking at it and thinking they've made some shrewd investments this summer for once. Andros Townsend was firing, Damari Gray was firing, Decore was playing well. Then a couple of injuries later, and their whole game plan sort of gone out the window when Calvert-Lewin got injured, didn't it? And yeah,
When's
they
he
just
back?
No idea. Soon, I think. I think I've seen rumours that he's sort of not quite back in training, but hopefully we'll be back over the Christmas period.
I saw a tweet where he was doing a shaving advert at half time for the game, and so I was like, he's injured, but he's got enough time to do this acting for this advert. I think the person thought it was live.
Yeah,
like it's just recorded. It probably would have been recorded like a year ago or so. I don't know, but it's very funny.
Some people are very stupid. But yeah, Everton in big trouble, Southampton in trouble, Watford in trouble.
Yeah,
so much trouble. It could be a 10-way relegation battle.
Nor a race.
10-way.
10-way. I'm calling it.
About 5 teams.
there's more in there.
I've named 4 teams, but it's a 10-way battle.
All right, I'll read them then.
I was about to say, I love how you haven't even named like Norwich and Burnley in there.
They're already. They're a given. They're a given, Chris. Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle, Leeds, Watford, Southampton, Everton. Villa will be all right. I think Villa have been okay since Gerrard came in, but that might just be the honeymoon period. Brentford will be all right. Yeah, okay, maybe not 10. Maybe 10 was a bit ambitious. Maybe just a bit. How many did I name there? I don't even know. 6, 7, 8.
And one was Everton. I don't think any of us actually believe that Everton are going to get relegated. I think
might be.
Benitez will get the chance.
I'm calling it now. We're calling it now. Everton are going down.
What are you laughing for?
They're going
Chris,
down with the Canaries. Sadio Mane is the best player in the world.
Don't do it some maybes, but
I do absolutes. Anyway. Alan is the worst centre midfield player the Premier League has ever seen.
Right, this episode has far too many Scouse accents. Yeah. I'm going to bring it back to reality here and ask.
Move on to Aston Villa, where I can do Steven Gerrard again.
Do you want to move on to Aston Villa or not? No,
not really.
Can we move on to the Premier League? Can we?
I did see that Matt Target scored and Ashley Young got the assist.
Stop
People
it.
were writing funny
Stop
tweets
it.
about that.
That's not good.
Things that we can't repeat on this podcast.
Yes.
Prison FC.
Right, we're going to... Right, Barnes, you don't know about this yet, so I'm going to let you give you some time to decide. But which Premier League manager do you reckon will cook you the best meal? That's the question. Ed, go.
Well, I was thinking about what managers there are, and there's a lot of sort of German and Central European managers.
Not the best cuisine.
There's sort of 3 Germans. I think Chris was telling me that Hasenhüttl's Austrian, and the old boy whose name escapes me from Brentford is Danish.
Thomas Frank.
That's the one. I'm not a massive fan of German cuisine. I like a hot dog, but I wouldn't want one.
It's more of a Bradfurst.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to. That's like what 5 of them out of the way already, and then you got the English managers. Steven Gerrard, I can't imagine, is a very good cook. Brendan Rodgers is the same. I know he's not English, but I can't imagine he's a very good cook. Sean Dyche, I bet, does a mean steak, but he probably likes it far too rare, probably still breathing. Who else have you got?
The cows are still alive.
Still mooing in the snow, just chilling there. He's gone out without a shirt on to go and slaughter it. You've got a couple of Spaniards in there. Well, 3, I think, isn't there? Or is there more? Rafa Benitez, Guardiola, Arteta. So I'm partial to a paella, but normally when I'm on holiday, rather than if I was to have one manager cook for me, I think I'm veering towards one of the Italians, either Ranieri or Conte. Do me some nice fresh pasta or a pizza or a lasagna.
Okay. Lovely.
So I'm going to say Ranieri. Ranieri because he's got more experience than Conte. Conte had just come into the kitchen, whip something up quickly that would be half decent, and then leave.
Okay, interesting justification there.
Whereas
Chris?
Ranieri would tinker with it. Yeah, all right, I'll shut up now.
Okay, Chris, how about you? What's your thinking here?
I'll disagree with Ed. I'll stick Italian.
Fight me, Chris. Fight me.
Now, I will go Antonio Conte just because he's a perfectionist. He'll want things to be perfect, but then he would probably moan about the ingredients that are in my house. just like he pretty much moaned about the Tottenham players on Thursday and that. But now, like Antonio Conte is a perfectionist. I think it'd be a bit like Gordon Ramsay in the kitchen as well. Like if people aren't doing the right job, he'll just lob a plate at them, probably swear at them. Yeah, get out my kitchen!
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
And that. So yeah, I think I'd love Antonio Conte to cook me a carbonara.
Oh, it's like a British carbonara. Barnes, you've had a couple of you've had a few minutes to think about this. Do you go for an Italian job, or
Italian stallion,
or would you go for something different here?
I think Ed did me a big favour by just listing all the managers and then I
was helping. I was biding you some time.
Spanish, paella, Conte Italian, pizza. I'm going to swerve away from both of those, and I'm going to say Marcelo Bielsa. I think he'd put the most thought into his meal, and he'd probably take longest. He'd even probably give me a PowerPoint presentation of exactly how he made it. And also with the added thing that he's obviously Argentinian, and Argentina is famous for doing steaks. So there we are.
Nice.
Who else was? There was someone. I've seen Bruno Lage as well. I feel like
I was thinking Portuguese.
A good cook, and he's got sort of lager large in the name, so that's a drink. So at least he'd do some good booze. Drink responsibly.
If it was, I'm looking at Brendan Rodgers, just pint of Guinness. That's Irish though. That's not Northern Irish.
Yeah, I was going to say you've infuriated the Ireland and Northern Ireland contingent of the pod.
I know Northern Irish people. They love Guinness too.
So. Hey, no, mate, Belfast from May, Dublin.
You've offended so many people in this podcast with your questionable accents.
I'm talking to you, Tommy Shelby. They've offended no one.
The fourth man, H.
Whole different TV show.
That's Line of Duty for you Line of Duty fans. That was interesting. That killed like 5 minutes of time. I just wanted to know who you thought, which manager would cook you the best meal. That was good.
It's a shame because there's not that many exotic locations, really, are there? There seems to be clusters of managers from certain parts of the world.
Vieira's French.
No thanks to snails or frogs.
Don't fancy that. Very stereotypical.
Scottish David Moyes. Would you like a haggis?
With a haggis.
Battered Mars bar.
Absolutely not. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. You guys got anything to say?
No, I might have to do a whip round for a get well soon card for you.
Moonpig.com, baby.
Yeah. Can we just quickly talk about like a couple of things?
Of course.
The Erling Haaland celebration was brilliant.
It's very brilliant. Office, isn't it? Like it is superb. The camera work. Let's talk about the camera work more. Oh, it's fantastic.
I haven't seen this. You'll have to describe it me, Chris. What happened?
God, Chris.
I probably can't do the gesture the woman did, even though I have sworn on this pod.
It's all right. Yeah, you've sworn about 3 times anyway.
I think we all have.
Yeah. So I'm guessing this woman must have heckled Haaland while he's like warming up or something. So obviously
she's on her own as well, which is really funny.
Haaland scored his goal, so he's literally ran to this woman. He hasn't got too close. He's literally just got down on one knee and just pointed at her like that.
Oh, he's Erling in the room.
And then the camera pans from him to the woman in the crowd, and the woman is sat there all wrapped up in coats and just goes.
it was more like that.
It's the two-hand movement.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Two-handed middle finger.
Yeah, I think we should also talk about how farcical it was in the Portuguese league as well. That Belen and Zez, I can't really say their name.
There's a lot of ease in that.
Yeah, the Benfica game in Portugal, where their opposition started the game with only 9 outfield players, with 2 of them being 9 players. Sorry, obviously 2 of them being goalkeepers. A goalkeeper had to start in defence.
Why would you put him in defence? Put him up front or something.
Get him out of the way. Hold up, man. Target man.
Yeah, but they're not going to win the game, are they?
Yeah, you never know.
What was the score, Chris,
0-0
in the game?
Well, it was 7-0 at half time, but then it got abandoned. It got abandoned because literally
Rage quit.
FIFA rules.
It pretty much was a rage quit that 2 of their players didn't come out for the second half, and then the goalkeeper that's playing out pitch is pretty much feigned injury, just like I've had enough. And that
is so it's so Sunday League, isn't it? It's so bad.
I think we should start things we noticed in football this week or last week, like sort of segment for either the end or the beginning. Yeah, just like these are the things that we've noticed that made us laugh.
Why did they? Yeah, go on, Chris.
I was going to say another moment from another football game was in the Copa Libertadores final, basically the South American Champions League.
Yes,
where the referee kind of taps that Palmeiras player on the back. He's gone over feigning an injury. It's like, what are you doing?
It's because he's time wasting, I found out.
Yeah.
It was like the 123rd minute. He's trying to time waste, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's like the ref's patted you on the back and you've just gone down as if you've been shot.
I was surprised the ref didn't book him for something like that. Imagine being the ref and he's thrown himself on the floor because you've tapped him on the back. I'd have been in my pocket. Get him off.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But then that probably wastes more time. So that's what he wants. That's what he wants.
Clever. It's very meta.
Just going back to the Benfica game. Why did they not have the youth team that they could play? Surely they're not all in a bubble together, are they? Or the under 23s or something.
But I'm not sure. It is a really strange one. But obviously, found out today, I think they have 44 of their playing and coaching staff isolating, and I think they have got 13 confirmed positive cases, obviously from this new variant from South Africa. Because I think one of their players was on international duty with South Africa, and obviously he come back from international duty, come back positive, and obviously he's the one that's spread this new variant into their squad, but. I think at one point during the game, Jorge Jesus, the Benfica manager,
known for every week now.
Yeah, well, he's just known for his antics. I think he fell asleep in the dugout. I think he just fell asleep, just like
that was Ollie.
We've won this game. We've won this game. We're just gonna have a quick 5, little
siesta.
Yeah,
lovely stuff. Fantastic. Well, that was lovely. Yeah, mask up, everybody. Please be safe. I might have COVID. Who knows? I've tested negative. I don't have COVID.
Put a coat on.
Put a coat. Everyone wrap up warm. Wear a mask.
Put your trousers on as well.
Put your trousers on.
No, none of this shorts.
Always good advice
in this weather.
Yeah, always
if you're a builder. We'll be in December by the time we do the next pod. Get your Christmas leave booked in as well. Do that. Sound like your line manager, but get your Christmas leave booked in.
Don't forget your advent calendars. I need to buy one.
Yes, don't forget that.
What are you boys going to buy? I'm sorry, I'm making the pod even longer.
No, I don't have one, so I might have to.
I might go for a Milky Bar this year. That's the white chocolate one.
The white chocolate.
White chocolate's decent.
Whatever my mum gets me, I'm a lazy monster.
Chris Olive, 26 in a couple of months' time.
Full-grown mustache, but a child at heart.
Exactly.
Great, that's lovely scenes. Yeah, get your advent calendars in. Put in the comments what you think Chris should be getting. Chris's mum should be getting.
This is an early bath top tip.
Lovely stuff. We're still on 55 subs. Let's get to 75 before Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge task. Let's get 20 in 20 odd days. Don't know what the accent was there, but let's do that. Be sure to like and subscribe. Do turn notifications on. I won't be as ill next time, or I could be more ill. There's no promises.
You're either not here or you're all right.
I'll either be here fine or be more ill.
Yeah.
I will try my best to not be ill. I will rest up. But please, we'll see you next time at some point, and we'll talk some more random football stuff. But yeah, goodbye. Wave and goodbye from us.
Ciao bella.
Ciao. Oh wow, Italian. Lovely.